you for waiting patiently, Miss Chrissy. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
I guess I want to touch on some things that he talked about earlier. I'm gonna be real quick, and he talked about Arabs and going to Arab countries and how those women are. First off, right now it's 20,000 women that's been incarcerated in Iran, women that are being unalive because they are fighting their men too. So what you said was completely false. In other Muslim countries, women are fighting against oppression. So what you said is false. Two, you talked about traditional women and traditional relationships. Sir, you're not about to pay no bride price. You're not about to sacrifice no cows. And you wasn't a virgin when you married your wife. So you're not a traditional man neither. And then another thing is when it comes down to black women, you have to understand we fought side by side our men. We are warriors. We fought with our men. And what you want us to adopt is a white man's idea, which is patriarchy. And we don't want to do that. We know our worth. And that is the problem that y'all having. When y'all say submissive and y'all talk about families. Y'all not talking about having a healthy family. Y'all talking about us being an indentured servant to a man having property. We don't want men that lack self-worth. We don't want men that lack control. And that is the problem. Because y'all lack so much self-control, y'all want to then turn around and control us. And that is our problem. We don't care if y'all get on a plane and go find women in other countries because we know our worth. And if you're not going to be what we want as men and our value, because y'all keep talking about this peace, y'all can't have peace if ain't at peace. I can't bring you peace if I'm not at peace. Y'all want us to bring you peace at the cost of our misery. And that is something that we're not willing to do. You talk about families and you know that what we need to ring. Listen, we don't value a ring. We value family. We value love. We value our happiness. And when we are telling you this stuff, a lot of you men are not hearing us. And that is the problem. You want us to shut up, sit down, and take abuse. And we ain't doing that no more. That time is done. That ship has sailed. It is over. We are no longer in chains. We are no longer in shackles. We are no longer slaves. We can earn our own. We can take care of ourselves. We can take care of our children. We tired of you men getting up and we're not having babies. You talking about us having babies and not having father? The birth rates have gone down. Young girls are not having babies. We're not doing none of that no more. We're not stepping into those roads. Yes, we traveling too, but we're not traveling to see no man. We traveling because we live in life. We working too because we taking care of ourselves. We taking care of our children. We're there when y'all leave. When y'all decide to step out and not be fathers, we are holding ground and we are raising up these children. We are raising up these men. We are doing the jobs that y'all refuse to do, then turn around and blame us because you won't do. That is the difference between y'all and us. That's the problem. Y'all don't like the fact that we are strong. Y'all don't like the fact that we know our value. Y'all don't like that. Y'all want us to hush up, like you mentioned. You talk about all these countries, these submissive women, Asian women, and all this stuff. And in those countries, those women are fighting up against those men. This is not no United States situation. This is a worldwide situation. So in those countries, yeah, those women are using those men to get what they need, and that's just it. That's it. Once they get what they need, they're gonna dump those men too. We tired as even y'all men start learning that we are human beings and not property. We are people. We have feelings. We have emotions. We have wants. And you have to respect us as human beings, then we don't need it. There's no law, there's nothing that says we got to be tied down to no insecure man. There's nothing that says that. So we can find our peace everywhere. Let me tell you something, sir. Fortunately, there are good black men out here, and we see them. And a lot of us are in relationships with good black men. We are in relationships with men who know their worth. We are in relationships with men who are valued. Look at this guy that's sitting here. You see these women gifting these men because there are men out there that will love us and that will appreciate them. And that's the men we choose to give our time to. You talk about Pookies and Ray Rays. Y'all not understanding. Y'all are the Pookie and Ray Ray we talking about. Y'all are the very definition of a Pookie and a Ray Ray, a man that lacks self-worth and self-esteem. That's
Okay.
all I have to say. I don't want to go over nobody else's
Yeah,
time.
yeah. 1 second.
Yeah.
1 second, guys. 1 second. Division, I'm gonna drop you, brother. Thank you so much. You know
Well,
it's on.
hold on. Before you
I
drop
don't
the
know if you're
vision,
gonna stay here. I
hold
don't know if
on,
you're
hold
gonna
on.
tie, but I'll catch you. 1 second, Marty. Let me drop Division. I'm gonna let you. I'm
No,
gonna let you
don't drop
go,
them. Don't
Marty.
drop them. I have a question for him.
Oh, you had a question for Division?
Yeah, I had a question for division.
Oh, next time. I
Yeah,
gotta. Sorry, too late.
it's cool. It's cool. Because
But
I
Miss
guarantee
Chrissy,
you,
Miss
I bet you
Chrissy,
all the T in China division ain't married.
what'd you say?
I said, I bet you all the T in China that division ain't married.
No, he
I
not
get
married. But
what
one
Chrissy's
second, Marty.
saying.
1 second,
Yeah.
Miss Chrissy, please go ahead. Please go ahead and please go ahead and mute Miss Chrissy. I'm gonna let you while they rebuttal. I'm gonna let you collect your gifts that the people are sending you. Then I am gonna go on. I am pirate meds. Marty, she basically she basically was aiming at you the whole time. So I'm going
Yeah,
to let
that's cool.
you
That's cool.
rebuttal.
That doesn't bother me. Like, because what I know is that, this is a woman who catastrophizes all relationships and has a bad faith assumption about men as a group. She thinks that all men are trying to oppress and demean and control and abuse women. And, most of the time women like that have a very hard time getting married, in the same way that a man who's like, all women are trash, women are users, all women care about is money, that man's going to have a hard time finding a wife. No woman wants a man like that. And no man in his right mind wants a woman where her perspective of the relationship between men and women over time is that men just abuse and defile and beat on all women. And that's what all men are doing. So to me, like, she is the epitome, the example of what it is that guys who want marriage, they avoid these types of mindsets in women, period. So it doesn't bother me that she went off and said all of this stuff about you want a weak woman because yeah, I couldn't care less. I really couldn't. That was just a whole bunch of drivel and her just going off on her soapbox, acting like, they're triumphing right now. Like, if here's my one thing to you, Miss Chrissy, all these men that you saying ain't shit and black men want this and they like this and they blah, 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 then stop having kids by him. Okay? Stop having kids by him. Not you in particular, but like, let's tell the women who think like this, because you're submitting to these men to have their children. And then the men that you're talking about, oh, we're stepping up to raise these kids. Out of 100 black men in jail, 80 of them were raised by their mothers. Out of 100 black men in a mental institution, 80 of them were raised by their mothers. So the work that's being done on raising these kids without fathers, because you're single, independent, and you don't need a man. Unfortunately, your son still needs a man. He needs a father. And when you lay down with guys who are irresponsible men, right? Because you want to pretend like there are no responsible men. When the truth of the matter is that the responsible men want women who want to be wives and not single, independent boss chicks who are warrior woman kings like you, right? So you end up having kids with the men who will deal with you. And those men aren't your competitive, successful black men who want families. Those men are the guys who will agree with the bullshit you just said, like Divisive, who don't ever marry, right? Who don't buy you rings, who don't buy you houses, who don't. We had 80, we had 100 years of marriage at 80% in the black community. And that's where Black Wall Street came from. That's where all of the black communities that are now underwater that got built in this country, that's where they came from. They didn't come from single independent black women. Black single independent black women, which started the rise in the late 60s and early 70s, what we got out of that were our projects. And we got our babies filling up the prisons. So you can say whatever you want. The proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. And the demonstrated reality is black women have been non submissive, out of cooperation, out of harmony with their men. And the outcome is that the children suffer. But hey, you know what? At least you're getting to travel and do your thing, and you single independent and you chasing the bag. So I guess that's all that matters. It stops and starts with you and what makes you happy. Fuck these kids, right? Anyways, let's keep it moving.
Okay, hold on, Miss
Hold on,
Chrissy.
let
Hold
me
on,
tell
Miss
you
Chrissy.
something.
1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. I'm gonna let Drew speak, and I'm gonna give you 1 minute to respond. Just
All right.
need to
Thank
let I'm gonna
you.
let Drew speak,
And
and I'm gonna give you 1 minute.
and
Drew is
you know what, Chris,
12:56. I'm giving you until 1 a.m. You got 4 minutes. Go ahead.
I got you, bro. Let me go. Chrissy, I appreciate you, sister. I appreciate all the sisters in here that agree or don't agree. Everyone who agrees or don't agree. I apologize for losing my cool. Let me go ahead and do that with my man. There, he said what he said. I said what I said, but I do apologize for losing my cool to everybody. But And I get where all what Chrissy was saying, because she was coming from heart. She was coming from emotion. She was coming from past experiences. And this is why I say that it's a lot of hurt going on. And we need to really address that hurt. And if I a man that's going to be the one that's not going to pander to you and tell you like it is, like I tell my daughter and my son, not saying you are my daughter, but if I'm going to be straightforward with you, I feel like I'm doing you more justice than telling you what you want to hear. I'll be your big brother. Take it out on me. That's fine. I get it, because that's where all that came from. And more of it's probably going to come. You see what I'm saying? Yes, I was emotional. Yes, I was. I get it. I just didn't like being called that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like that emasculation stuff. But what I'm saying is that, please, I can take that from a woman. See, but one thing about men, when you go that route, that's a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, I feel you, Chrissy. I love you, sister. I appreciate all of y'all. And I get where you were coming from. All I can say is that use that to heal, reflect on it. And then that next gentleman that comes into your life, make sure that you find another source of that anger to channel it at. Maybe it's a wall, a tree, in the gym, but don't do it to that man who's coming to love you. Okay. That's
Okay.
it.
Go ahead and
I
mute,
go.
Drew. Yeah,
Y'all
you got 1 minute.
gaslighting. Well, I talked about good men. First of all, sir, I was married for 20 years. The father of my children is an excellent father. He's an excellent father. He stay in my children's life. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I have great experiences with black men. That's how I know that you ain't a good black man, neither one of you. If my father was to see one of you, any man in my family was to meet one of you, they'll tell me to run. I come from good, strong black men. What is wrong with you? Just because us women talk like this, that doesn't mean we don't know what good black men look like. We haven't had experiences with good black men. We are not in relationships with good black men. You are out your mind if y'all think that. We know that you ain't it. We know that you the one that aids in our oppression. That's the problem. So you could gas like all you want, but we don't have to take your mess, and that's what you don't like. You don't like when women like me talk, and you don't want other women to hear me, because you loses your power. You know why? Because you don't know yourself. Sir, I suggest you take your behind to therapy and find who you are so that you can figure out how to respect a woman. I come from kings. I come from gods. I don't come from no weak men. What is wrong with you? You think you think I'm gonna be sitting here? You don't think I got a father? You don't think I got a grandfather? You don't think I got a great grandfather? You don't think I got brothers? You don't think I got family who loves me and want to protect me and taught me the value of a man and what a value of a man and what a man looks like? You don't think I'm hurt? I'm healed. I'm the best version of me. The father of my children, absolutely, he's a father. Because if you ask him my children's favorite color, shoe size, what makes them happy, if you ask him anything about my children, he could tell you. If you can ask him about who's the children's doctors are, who my children's teachers' names are, because he's at every parent teacher, he's at every dental appointment, he's at every doctor's appointment, and my daughter's 18. I got a 20-year-old. I got big children. So don't tell me.
He's
And not
not under
only
the
was he
same
a
roof.
father, he's a father to my
Yeah.
oldest daughter who is not. Hold on one second. He's a father to my oldest child who's not even his. So he stepped in.
Then
He
why don't you
stepped
divorce
in.
him?
But
I know
but you're
nothing but
divorced.
good black men. Don't when you come
Why are
from
you
any
going off?
black men in
Why do
my
you think you need to
circle,
talk
I
to
That's
know
people
what I'm
like
saying.
that?
nothing
Going off.
but
Is that
good
healthy?
black
That's what I'm saying. Is
men.
that
And
healthy?
you are not
You're
it.
not
You are
passionate. This
not
is
I'm
it.
not
And
trying to
masculine.
you
She
be
thinks
it.
she can
say,
talk down
I'm
to
no
people.
weak, I'm healed. What is you talking about?
This
You
is a
think
Your
us
guy
actions
women, you
who's
speak
don't think
going
louder
it,
than
off.
for
words,
you to
Chrissy.
disrespect, but you
Yeah.
just disrespected black men because you
No, we
tried to
just
say
said
that
something
there's
you
no
don't
good.
agree with,
You're
and you
saying
acting
there's
like a nut behind it.
no good black
There are
men.
plenty of good
You're
black
saying
men,
there's
but
no
what's
Yeah.
black
going
men
on?
that
They're being
have
overlooked for
self-control
the higher
Yeah.
and
income
self-worth.
earning men.
Okay,
But
Miss
there's a
Chrissy,
We
difference.
don't
Hold
care
on.
Chrissy.
about
There's a
no money. We got
hold on.
lie.
That's a
What is
lie,
wrong
Hold
with
though.
on.
you?
You
How
might
you
not
talk
care
Guys,
about
about
always
hold on,
having
hold
a
money,
on.
but
woman?
that's a big topic.
There's
That's a big
We're not
topic, Chrissy.
Hold
slaves,
on.
sir.
there's a
We
We're
difference
not
gotta move
between
on. We gotta
property,
there's a
move on.
sir.
difference
We gotta
between
move on.
Nobody's
disagreeing
calling
and
you
Miss Chrissy,
switching or
property.
whatever.
Nobody wants you to be property. See, you're so
You
cynical about it.
offended. You need
And
to
I
get
see
out your
why
Have a
you're
good day,
feelings.
divorced.
Mr.
I see
Noble.
all right,
why
You
you're
thank
have a
you.
good
divorced.
day, and I
If your
appreciate your
husband had
time.
to deal with
Yeah.
that, heck yeah, he
Yeah.
had to go.
Okay. Marty in
Jesus
the room,
Sorry.
please
Christ,
mute
bro.
up. I am Pyro
Psychopath.
Thank you for